Ifeanyi Odume was a 34-year-old businessman who lived and had his business based in the city of Onitsha. Ifeanyi, popularly called Ife, had always dreamt of marrying a virgin, not just any virgin, but his virgin. He believed that wealth and a pure bride went hand in hand. He often told his friends, "When I become rich, I will marry a virgin." He would say, "I cannot marry a woman who has been with another man. No, never." If he believed was deeply ingrained in him, a tradition he held dear. He felt it was a matter of pride and honor. And so, if he worked really hard every day, driven by his vision of a perfect wife and a perfect marriage. As the years went by, Ife's business flourished and he became a successful trader, known for his good deals. Money flowed into his hands and his dream seemed within reach. And so, if he started looking for his ideal woman, she had to be beautiful, respectful, and most importantly, a virgin. He believed a virgin wife would bring him good luck and blessing. He imagined their life together, filled with happiness and prosperity. Adaora was the first woman Ife dated seriously, though he had seen other women, but Adaora was Ife's first date after his big break in business. Adaora was kind, beautiful, and loved Ife deeply. They spent some time together, going to parties, visiting families, and sharing their dreams. Ife enjoyed her company, but he couldn't shake off his obsession with virginity. One day, he asked Adaora the question, "Adaora, I need you to be sincere with me. Are you a virgin?" Adaora was taken aback. His question, that was the first time she was being asked such question. Adaora took a deep breath. Then she said, "If I must be sincere to you, Ife, no, I am not." Adaora's answer broke Ife's heart. She was not a virgin, but she looked like one. She was very reserved and modest. Ife thought to himself, as Adaora's response was really not what he was expecting to hear. And so, despite loving Adaora, Ife couldn't bring himself to marry her. His dream of a virgin bride was too strong. He ended the relationship, leaving Adaora heartbroken. He explained to his friends that she was a wonderful woman, but not the one he was destined to marry. His friends advised him to reconsider, but Ife was adamant. He believed his destiny was tied to marrying a virgin woman. After a while, Ife met Amaka in one of the most unconventional way. It was raining that day, and Amaka with her umbrella offered to help Ife as Ife's car was parked far away from where he was, and from that day, Ife took a liking in Amaka. Amaka was a teacher. She was well-mannered and a devoted Christian and a very intelligent woman. Ife was impressed by her character and her dedication to her work. He felt a connection with her, but the question of virginity still lingered in his mind. "I won't give up until I find that woman for me," he would say, encouraging himself. Ife asked Amaka out, and Amaka, who had already fallen in love with him, agreed to be his girlfriend. But Ife knew that he was going to ask that one important question. One day, Ife asked Amaka to come over to his place, and Amaka agreed to come after the close of school at where she was working as a teacher. When Amaka visited Ife seized the opportunity to ask Amaka, "There's an important question I need to ask you." Amaka became really curious. She wanted to hear his question. "Go on," she said softly. "Amaka, are you a virgin?" Immediately, Amaka's face fell as she became really sad. Her countenance totally changed. "Ife," she said softly, I am not. I was taken advantage of and violated when I was just 14. And the thought of it is still hot till date." she said, already in tears, as the memory of the past flushed over her. Ify felt sorry for her. She was still hurt by the experience. Amaka was also not a virgin. She had been through a traumatic experience as a teenager. Amaka had never told anyone about it until Ify asked her directly. Though Amaka had thought she had overcome the trauma, tears streamed down her face as she narrated her ordeal, and Ify was moved. He felt a deep sense of sympathy for her. But what Ify said next sent shiver down Amaka's spine. Amaka, I am sorry, I can't be with a woman who is not a virgin. And obviously you are not. Ify, why? Why will you say that? You know I love you. And you love me too, don't you? Please, don't do this to me. But if his resolve was unwavering, he meant what he said. He ended things with Amaka. Amaka tried to speak with Ify's close friend. Please help me talk to your friend. I really love him, she said. Don't worry, I will talk to him, Ify's friend assured her. But deep down in his heart, he knew that Ify would not change his mind, as he had come to see how serious his friend Ify was on the subject matter. He had advised him severally, but Ify's mind was made up. Ify continued his search, dating several other women. Anyone who weren't a virgin, he would sleep with them and eventually break up the relationship. Each relationship ended the same way. Ify soon became known among his circle of friends as the virginity hunter. Most of his friends mocked him, while a few admired his dedication to his belief. Ify, however, was not deterred. He believed that his perfect woman was out there waiting for him. He spent his time going to different social gatherings, hoping to find her. He would often ask subtle questions about a lady's past. He became more discreet in his search, trying not to scare potential suitors away. He was determined to find his virgin bride, no matter how long it took. Meanwhile, a young lady named Lucy, who had just moved in the neighborhood where Ify lived, noticed Ifeanyi. He was charming, and to crown it up, he was rich. That was her ideal man, right there. She thought to herself, as she had always dreamt of marrying a rich man, and so Lucy started to orchestrate the perfect way to be noticed by Ify. One day, as if he walked around the estate, Lucy intentionally bumped into him. I am sorry, if he said. No problem. I just had too much on my mind. I wasn't looking. I am sorry too, she said, her tone soft and seducing, as he held her hands to raise her up. And from that day, Ify and Lucy became friends. Lucy was a beautiful woman, and Ify could not help but ask her out. And Lucy was glad Ify had a romantic interest in her. However, Lucy had a secret that no one in the new environment knew about. She had lived a promiscuous life. She had been with many men for money. She was professional at it and had even had several abortions. Lucy was the opposite of what Ify was looking for in a wife. But Lucy was clever. She knew about Ify's wealth and his obsession with virginity. She saw him as a ticket to a comfortable life. Lucy played the role of a decent and respectable young lady. During their dates, Lucy carefully steered the conversation towards marriage and family. She spoke about her values and a desire for a stable relationship and a man who fears God. She presented herself as a virtuous woman, everything Ify had ever wanted. Ify was completely taken in by her acts. He was convinced that he had finally found her perfect woman. The conversation eventually turned to the sensitive topic of virginity, as Ify always does. Lucy gave a shy smile like a teenager who had just fallen in love. Ify, you know I don't like talking about this. It just makes me feel awkward and uncomfortable. Ify swallowed hard. He knew the direction that Lucy was driving at. Lucy, so you are a virgin, he said with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. Yes, Ify, Lucy said softly and shyly. Ify's heart was filled with joy. Finally, Ify said under his breath. He felt like his dream was finally coming true. He couldn't believe his luck. He had found a beautiful, virtuous, and a virgin woman. Ify was so happy that he proposed to Lucy the very next day. Lucy, feeling surprise and joy, accepted his proposal. She knew she had him hooked. She had achieved her aim. Ify was excited that he told all his friends about his soon-to-be wife. Lucy, however, was living a lie. She knew she wasn't a virgin. She was terrified of what would happen on their wedding night. She knew Ify would find out the truth, and she was afraid of his reaction. She couldn't afford to lose him now. She had to find a way to maintain the lie. Desperate, Lucy went to a local doctor. She asked him to perform a procedure to make her appear like a virgin. She wanted a partial stitch down there so that there would be a bit of blood on their wedding night. The doctor, though hesitant at first, agreed to her request for a hefty fee. He warned her about the dangers, but eventually agreed to carry out the procedure. When Lucy informed some of her friends over the phone that she was getting married, they were surprised. Lucy, you are very lucky, oh, one of her friends said. I know, right? I've always been a lucky girl. It is God, oh, she added with a smile. But when they asked for the invitation and the address for the wedding, Lucy stylishly changed the topic because she did not want any of her friends to be at her wedding so that they don't ruin things for her, because they obviously were not the kind of woman Ify would expect to see. Ify and Lucy continued with their wedding preparation. The wedding day arrived. It was a grand affair. Ify was beaming with pride, showing off his beautiful bride. He told everyone how lucky he was to find a virgin wife. Lucy, on the other hand, was nervous because she knew the truth. She tried to act calm and happy, but inside, she was panicking. I just hope this plan works, she thought to herself. Ify and Lucy were pronounced husband and wife. They celebrated with their families and mostly with Ify's friends. Ify was on top of the world. He had finally achieved his dream. He was married to a virgin. He felt vindicated for all the years he had spent searching. And today, he was already 40, but he was grateful to have found his dream wife. The wedding night arrived, and Lucy's heart was pounding. She was terrified of what was about to happen. She had taken all necessary precaution, but she was still scared. Ify was excited and eager to consummate their marriage. He had waited for this moment for a long time. As they lay in bed, Ify gently undressed Lucy. He was filled with love and anticipation. Lucy, meanwhile, was praying that her deception would work, her heart pounding in her chest. Surprisingly, everything went as planned. There was a small stain of blood, and there was all that Ify needed to see to confirm that his wife was pure. Ify was not as wise as he thought himself to be, as he did not realize that he had just been deceived and played. He believed that Lucy was indeed a virgin. He felt the surge of pride and happiness. Ify, convinced of his good fortune, couldn't stop talking about his virgin bride. He told everyone he knew, from his closest friends to the market traders at his business place, how lucky he was. He described Lucy's beauty, her kindness, and of course, her virginity. He felt like he had won a lottery. He was so proud of himself for finding such a perfect woman. He showered Lucy with gifts and attention. He wanted to make her happy and show how much he appreciated her. He bought her expensive clothes, jewelries, and took her on lavish trips. He believed that by making her happy, he would secure his own happiness. He was determined to be the best husband he could be. On Lucy's birthday, Ify surprised her with a brand new car. It was a sleek, red sports car, the kind Lucy had always dreamt of. She was thrilled and happy. He organized a big birthday party for her. He wanted to show everyone how much he loved and cherished his wife. He made a speech praising her virtues and expressing his undying love. He felt like he was living in a fairy tale. However, Lucy did not seem to be pleased with him. Slowly, subtly, Lucy's true character began to unravel. The sweet woman Ify had married started to disappear. In her place was a rude, disrespectful, and demanding woman. She started to disrespect Ify at home, in front of his friends, and even in the public. She would talk to him harshly, belittle his opinions, and make him feel small. If he was confused and hurt, he couldn't understand why Lucy had changed so much. He had given her everything she wanted, yet she was still unhappy. He tried talking to her about it, but she would simply dismiss him. Lucy's disrespect grew bolder and more frequent. She would often argue with Ify in front of his friends, making him feel embarrassed and humiliated. She would criticize his choices, his family, and even his appearances. "See the way you dress so local. You don't look good at all despite you being rich," she said one day. If he felt a surge of pain and insufficiency, if he felt trapped in his marriage, his dream of a perfect marriage was turning into a nightmare. He started to withdraw from his friends and family. He was ashamed of Lucy's behavior and didn't want them to see how unhappy he was. He felt like he had made a huge mistake, but he didn't know what to do. He was still holding on to the image of the sweet, innocent woman he had fallen in love with. Who was he going to tell that his sweet, innocent wife was now a tiger? Beyond the disrespect, there was another problem. Lucy was not satisfied sexually. She found her husband's advances uninteresting and unfulfilling. She had been with better performing men in the past who made her feel real good. But now, if he was nothing close to the men in her past, she would often rebuff him or pretend to be tired whenever Ify wanted to fulfill his marital duties. Ify felt rejected and inadequate. He didn't understand what was wrong. He tried to please her in every way, but nothing seems to work. Lucy, driven by her own desire and dissatisfaction, started looking elsewhere for fulfillment. She began to have secret affairs with other men. She craved excitement and things she wasn't getting from Ify. Rumors started circulating about Lucy's infidelity. People in the community whispered about seeing her with other men. Ify, blinded by his love for Lucy, refused to believe the rumor. He had married his wife a virgin. She was too decent for that, he said to himself. As the rumor got to him, he defended her against the accusation, saying that people were just jealous of their happiness. However, the gossip grew louder and more persistent. Ify couldn't ignore them anymore. He started to have doubts about Lucy's loyalty. He felt a knot of suspicion in his stomach. He knew he had to find out the truth. One day, Ify decided to follow Lucy. He wanted to see things for himself. What was she doing when he wasn't around? He trailed her to a hotel with another man holding hands. His heart sank. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. His stomach churned and his feet were shaking as he stood close to his car, as he watched his wife walking into the hotel with another man. After a while, Ify summoned courage as he stormed into the room, catching Lucy and her lover in the act. Lucy was shocked and terrified. She knew she had been caught red-handed. Ify was devastated. He felt betrayed and humiliated. The image of his perfect wife shattered into a million pieces. Ify confronted Lucy, his voice trembling with anger and pain. "So, Lucy, you have been cheating on me. If anyone had told me this, I would never believe it. Lucy, you are wicked. How could you do this to me? I showed you love, unconditional love." Ify said with a mixture of anger and pain, tears flowing down his eyes. But what Ify heard next shocked him. "You say you love me? You love me unconditionally? No, you don't. You only love me because I told you I was a virgin. But, newsflash, I was not a virgin. I told you what you wanted to hear and faked my virginity." Ify's mouth flew open. "How is that even possible? Ah, so you deceived me. Oh, you thought you were smart, but trust me, I beat you to it." Lucy further accused Ify of not satisfying her needs. "You are a weakling," she said. Ify was furious. He couldn't believe her audacity. He had given her everything. This was how she repaid him? He felt like a fool. He had been blinded by his dream of a virgin bride. Ify's heart was broken and his pride wounded. He kicked Lucy out of the house. He couldn't bear to look at her anymore. He felt disgusted and betrayed. He told her never to come back again. But Lucy entered the car Ify had bought for her on her birthday to drive and pack her belongings. After all, it was for her. But Ify ordered his security men to drag her out of the car. "Sorry, you can't take that with you," he said. "What? It is mine. You bought it for me." "No, I gave you that because you were my wife, and now you cease to be Mrs. Ifeanyi." At that point, Lucy realized that she had gained nothing in the marriage. She had only wasted her time trying to be who she is not, and now she has lost everything. Lucy left without a word. She had been exposed for who she truly was. She had lost her chances at a comfortable life. She was left with nothing but her shame and regrets. This story is not in any way discouraging purity before marriage. However, we have to be careful not to be in the place of deception or wanting something that might not be the most important. Thank you for watching. Please share with us in the comment section the valuable lessons you have learned from this story as we interact in the comment section. Like this video please and share out this video to your loved ones. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. Thank you. Until I come your way again with another story, for now, from me, it is bye.